Hello again and welcome to another Mordian Glory video. In today's episode, I want to take you through my first Bolt Action 3rd edition tournament list. That's right, the edition is barely released, the ink is still wet on the 3rd edition rulebook, and I am already going into the competitive meta, into the heart of the crucible of war. And so without further ado, let's not mess around any further and let's dive right into today's episode. Achtung, conscripts! Warlord Games is now an official sponsor of the Mordian Glory channel. And not only that, they have given me an affiliate link which I have popped down in the description below. By using that link, you can get your hands on some awesome World War II bolt action miniatures and at the same time support the Mordian Glory channel. You have all of my ideas, so what are you waiting for? Do the right thing and buy yourself some bolt action today. So as you can see, I will be taking my British to this tournament. I actually did a poll on YouTube to ask the community what they would rather see me take to my first tournament, either the British or the Germans, which are my two most fleshed out forces, and it was pretty close, but in the end, the Brits did win the poll with about 55% or so of people voting for them. And so with my mandate in hand, with my orders passed down from high command, I have gone away and put together a British Army list. And the theme for this list is mid-war. Now you might be thinking, Mordian, it's a tournament, be cutthroat, drive them before you, hear the lamentation of their women. Well, this first tournament is very much a soft one. It's sort of advertised as a launch party, let's all learn 3rd edition together. And whilst I'm sure there will be some people who will take the opportunity to crush and seal club as much as possible, I thought it would be cool to actually use this as an opportunity to bring out a more themed list rather than going for the best possible list that I could. So this is very much the Western Desert mid-war Brits, and I've tried to lean into that feeling for my army. But with that in mind, now let's get into the list proper, and of course we must start with the Infantry Corps. Every day in the Corps, it's like a day on the farm. Every meal a banquet, every paycheck a fortune, every formation a parade. I love the Corps. This is my British Rifle platoon, and I have gone for 3 10-man squads of regular British infantry, and they have only got rifles. That's right, we are believing in the Lee Enfield, my favourite rifle of all time. Sorry to all the Americans who love the Garand, but the Lee Enfield is just a sexier weapon. You can't deny it, even if you want to. And also the fact that we've taken rapid fire as our national characteristic for this list. We are going to believe in those myths of British riflemen being able to fire so rapidly and accurately that people think they were armed with machine guns individually. I just really like having lots of rifles. Like I said, the Lee Enfield is my favourite, and I really like the fact that you can be rewarded for doing that. On top of that, I do think it's actually quite a sneaky, cheeky way to essentially get a free LMG in each squad. Because if you've got a 10-man squad, then you're getting an extra free 3 shots. Now, sure, an LMG is going to give you 4 shots, but remember, you've got that loader, so that kind of takes a shot out. So I do like the rapid fire characteristic for the Brits, because A, I think it's powerful, B, I think it's thematic, and C, it's very easy to remember. A lot of the time, whenever I pick another national characteristic, I tend to forget it. But when I've got 3 big, chunky rifle squads, it is hard for me to do that. Supporting these infantry units in my platoon, I have gone for 2 officers. We have got a platoon commander. He is a regular bod, and he is going to have a Thompson submachine gun. And then we have got Biggles. Now, I painted this chap up in RAF blues because I painted him before I knew what the 3rd edition rules were. And I thought, you know what, it'd be cool to have an observer. And then I realised that in 3rd edition, the British get the benefit of an artillery observer, not an air observer. I mean, they had the artillery observer in 2nd edition as well, but even so. And so this may look like an RAF air observer, but we are going to be using him as an artillery observer. And my thinking is he won those RAF blues in a bet. Or perhaps he's just a staunch traditionalist from the days of Napoleonic times, and he likes to remember when artillerymen wore blue. You guys get to decide. The last part of the rifle platoon, we have got two support teams. We have got the boys anti-tank rifle. Boys. A little bit of cheeky extra anti-tank, and can't go wrong with having an extra dice in the bag. And then we have gone for the light mortar. Light mortars are goated now in 3rd edition. Very, very good. If you don't have any light mortars, get some. And if you're looking for how you can get lots and lots of light mortars, don't forget that the 8th Army and the British Commonwealth troops come with one with every 6 men, so you can really get quite a lot of them if you go down that infantry box. Everyone in this platoon is going to be regular veterancy, and in fact every unit in the army is going to be regular veterancy, because I like to keep it down the middle. Don't try and be too complicated with things, and also it kind of fits with that theme again of it being, you know, not inexperienced, quickly drafted people, and not a bunch of hardened veterans, just the army doing its thing in the desert. But we've looked at some infantry. Now let us take a gander at the other platoons in this force. Starting off, we have our 2nd platoon here, and that is an artillery platoon. We have got an officer with a pistol, because you've got to have a man with a pistol charging for. This is the British Army, goddammit. And then we've also got a medium anti-tank gun, and we've got the gun shield on there, and then we have got our 25-pounder. This is a light howitzer which has been upgraded with the 25-pounder shell, so it can also be a light AT gun, and of course it has that gun shield as well. The idea behind the platoon is to try out a couple of units and also give us a bit of extra anti-tank, because you can't just rely on light AT, even with the fact that now anything with a pen value can put pins on inexperienced and regular vehicles of the enemy. And also, you can't go wrong with the 25-pounder. I mean, it is literally the good all-rounder. It's got a bit of light AT, and it's got a bit of light HE. It can take on anything. Moving on to the 3rd platoon, we have got a heavy weapons platoon, medium machine gun, medium mortar, regular officer with SMG. Nothing really complicated about this. Machine guns are cool, and are much better now with extra shots, and also just good static DACA. And medium mortars, more HE in a cheap package. But now we move on to our 4th and final platoon, and my favourite one in the entire army. It is the armoured platoon, and we have brought quite a few vehicles with us today, because this is 3rd edition, so multiple vehicles are totally okay. Starting off, we have the command tank. This is a Matilda 2 CS. That means it has a light howitzer and a coaxial medium machine gun. I thought it'd be easy to differentiate which Matilda was the command one if I went for the one with the sandbags. And then next to it, we have got another Matilda 2, and this one has got the light AT gun and the coaxial medium machine gun. Now you might think that it's hard to tell the difference between these two, like between the two guns. Well, let me let you into a little secret. If you look at this one here, you can see that the barrel of the gun is the same size all the way. That is how you know it is the howitzer version. But if you look at this Matilda, you can see it's a little wider at this end, and then it goes narrower in the middle, and it goes a little wider again at the far end. That is the light AT gun. Now obviously, from 2 feet away on the tabletop, it is very hard to tell the difference between those two barrels. Hence, why I made the one with the sandbags the command tank, because it's also easy to remember the one with the sandbags has got the light howitzer. Small side note, in all honesty, you could probably just run both of these as light AT or light howitzers, and no one would be able to tell the difference or even really notice. And that is something that I very well may do, depending on how these different units perform at the tournament. If I come away thinking, man, I wish I had more light anti-tank, then I'll have 2 with light AT. And if I come away thinking, this is possibly the much more likely feeling, man, I wish I had more HE, well then next time you see this Matilda, it very well may be rocking a light howitzer. One last thing to say about the Matilda, which has nothing to do with my army list, is they are my favourite tanks in all of World War II, and very possibly my favourite tanks of all time. The Matilda 2 was the queen of the desert, and it was a damn sexy tank as well, and it was the reason why I decided to collect 8th Army in bolt action. But I suppose I can't spend the entire video gushing over these vehicles. We do have a couple more units we need to cover, and so let's have a look at this light tank here. It is a Stuart, or as the Brits like to call it, the Honey. Now we've got a light AT gun here, and we've also got a coaxial medium machine gun and a hull-mounted medium machine gun. Now what's interesting is, so at the moment, you cannot add the pintle-mounted MMG. But what you can do is add an extra hull-mounted MMG. So that's what I did. So I have spent the points for this machine gun, but when I use it, it will count as hole mounted rather than pintle. I did think about whether I should even include it at all, but I figured it'd be more confusing to have a machine gun on the tank that wasn't actually there than to have a machine gun on the tank that, strictly speaking, isn't in the right position. But let me know what you guys think about that. Is that an alright thing to do? But last and certainly not least, we have got the long-range Desert Group Chevy truck, and it is going to have 2 machine guns, one forward-facing, and you've got this guy on the back who has got the 360 mounted machine gun. This is a really, really cool model, and actually this was a present from my brother a couple of years ago, and so it's really good to have this thing painted up. I've used it in a couple of games, and it just looks really badass, like driving around on the battlefield, and the history behind the Long Range Desert Group is absolutely fascinating. If you don't know anything about it, I highly recommend you go and check them out. They were basically the proto SAS. I did think about having this as a veteran vehicle, but just to keep it simple, I decided to go for having it as regular, just because then the whole army can count as being regular. But with the desert truck covered, we get to the end of the list. This comes in at 1,245 points on the nose, and it is 17 order dice. And I am really, really excited to use this army because it's going to give me an excuse to use my new dice. Whilst I was at the Ward Open Day, I picked myself up the Desert Rat order bag, and I also got myself the sand-coloured order dice, and I even got myself the cool Desert Rat D6s as well. So this will be their first outing at this tournament, and hopefully they'll do good. But let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. How would you change this list if you were going to try and make it a little bit more efficient, maybe a bit more tournament worthy? Or on the other side, how would you change this if you were going to make it as themed as possible? If you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe, because that really helps boost the video with the YouTube algorithm. Would you like to know more? If so, then please consider becoming a channel member or patron. By supporting the channel, not only will you be doing your part, but you'll also be helping me create more content for your viewing pleasure and unlocking a whole host of perks. You get everything from a badge next to your name, custom emojis, but the big one is access to the Mordian Glory Discord server, an online community with almost 2,500 active members. It's always popping off in the MG Discord. We've got channels for army lists, hobbying, tactics, stories, and even a pretty spicy meme section as well. For all you greenhorns that wanted to see the Mordian glory hole, today is your lucky day. And joking aside, I do want to say a massive thank you to all of the current channel members and patrons. You guys are amazing. Truly the lifeblood of the channel. I could not do Mordian Glory full time without the incredible and generous support of my members. So thank you guys so much. And last but certainly not least, I want to say a personal thank you to all of my top tier Patreons. These are the War Masters, the people who have truly gone above and beyond the call of duty. So a heartfelt thank you to Alex Dengal, Bon Vert, Lord Pryor, Mark Panconi, RJ Scorpion, Swordfish Trombone, Try Again Bragg, John Stubbs, Nick Walsh, Diesel Fox, and August Barney. Seriously, guys, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Your support is incredible and it makes a huge difference. Thank you so much. That's all for now. Hope you've all enjoyed today's video. And of course, as always, I'll see you guys next time.